Do you think that the Federal Reserve should cut interest rates? If you answered yes to this question, then you are in alignment with Michelle Bowman and Christopher Waller, who just did something that we hadn't seen in 30 years today. And we're going to get into what happened and the context behind it. And just in case you're new here, hello, my name is Gaisha and I'm your new favorite economist. And without further ado, let's dive right into it. So in case you're not aware, today the Federal Reserve decided to hold interest rates steady. Now, the drama that occurred was the fact that two of their voting members decided to go against the consensus and say that the United States needs to cut now. And I want you all to understand that a double dissent has not happened since 1993. And this is huge. And mainly because the Federal Reserve is all about unity and as well as consensus. So for them to break formation like this signals that there is grave disagreement about where the economy is headed. And just to give some quick context about 1993, the United States was coming out of an economic slowdown, and Alan Greenspan, who was the Fed chair at that time, and his policymakers were divided upon how fast they wanted economic growth to occur. But unlike today, inflation was not the main target, because back then, the Fed was focused on fighting stagnation, not price pressures. And it is a very fair question to ask why the United States is not cutting rates. Consider this in a global context where the European Central Bank has cut multiple times this year. The Bank of England is easing, and smaller economies like Brazil and Chile started cutting last year. And meanwhile, we are still holding strong while Waller and Bowman are like, y'all, we're behind. Let's not let the lagging indicators catch us. So with that being said, this begs the million-dollar question of why is the Federal Reserve still standing still? Well, according to Chairman Jerome Powell and his board members, they say that although the job market is solid according to the data, however, inflation is still a concern due to the uncertainties surrounding the tariff deals. And this is primarily because inflation is not low enough, and also there could be price spikes as a result of these deals. But Christopher Waller and Bowman are ringing the alarm. As Waller pointed out, his reasoning for going against the consensus is primarily due to the softening job market because there is pressure up under the surface, especially in the private sector. Now, Michelle Bowman, on the other hand, she says that the current rates could cause more harm than good in the long term. And so what they're basically saying is that inflation is manageable, but growth is not. Timing is of the essence. So with this break in the Fed's unified front, this signals that there will be some policy shifts very soon. And with that being said, do you think that the United States should go ahead and cut rates? Or do you think that the Federal Reserve is making the right call by holding rates steady for a little longer? Let me know in the comments, and I look forward to reading and discussing this with you all. And with that being said, I will see you all next video.